Honestly, I don't even know why I'm doing this, but here we go. This 4-step framework, what I'm about to show you, is how I'm coming up with unlimited content ideas for Instagram. So booting up the laptop, the first part of my framework is ideation. So essentially I split all of this into 4 days. So I'll spend like the whole idea of batching, right, where you like batch one task into 1 day just for like increased productivity. So day 1 is ideation, which essentially, if you're looking at my laptop here right now, is I'll just spend this day coming up with ideas, as simple as that. So what you see here is lots of different hooks, and I'm going to tell you exactly how I come up with these hooks. So what you're going to want to do is, I'm assuming you already know what your niche is. I'm assuming you already know about their pain points. For example, I work with dentists. Some of their pain points when it comes to attracting more patients through social media is the fact that they don't have time to figure this out. Maybe the technology is too complicated for them. Maybe they don't have the time to figure out and keep up with trends. Maybe they deal with, like, they've tried ads in the past and it hasn't worked. So there's lots of different, you want to get clear on this all in advance, because it's going to save you a lot of time. It seems a little bit like silly, if you like. It seems like a waste of time, but trust me, like, I'm very clear on everything I'm doing here, because I've had an Instagram account in the past. I grew it to over 200,000 followers, and if you don't have an ideal client in mind and you're not talking to somebody's pain points when it comes to social media, you're not going to make any money. So I'm showing you here, this isn't complete. This is why all the links aren't exactly paired up, because I'm like really OCD about stuff like that. What you're seeing is like the foundation to a really solid personal brand. You're seeing the client avatar. So this is the idea that I'm talking to their pain points. Like, everything's here. Do I show you this? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna show you the details. This is their current situation. We've got their pain points and we've got their desires. That's all I'm going to show, and you just break it down so you get really clear on the foundations. So when it comes to coming up with content, because you're ciphering all of your content through a very stringent framework, it's going to be very easy for you to produce content. It's going to talk directly to their pain point, and it's going to be 100 times better, trust me. So you build that foundation, you get their pain points, you take all this information and you put it into ChatGPT, and what you say, all you got to do, go on ChatGPT and type in something to the tune of, give me 50 viral Instagram hooks and my niche is X and their pain points are X, and it's going to like cipher all the kind of hooks that are working. And what you want to do is you want to break down, so there's 2 different types of hooks. You've got visual hooks and you've got verbal hooks. So what I'm showing you here are verbal hooks. This is what you're going to say when you're on camera, assuming you're doing talking head videos like this. A visual hook is something what is to engage the listener, to engage the person watching your content. So this is like different transitions, what people do. This is like different, like people do these things where they get these like viral clips of like people, like fail montages, and they put them at the front of the video. I don't think that's a good idea, because then you're going to attract people to watch your video, but as soon as they realize it's not what they initially invested in, they're just going to swipe away. Step number 1, ideation. You want to get very clear on your pain points of your avatar. You want to get very clear on visual hooks. You want to get very clear on verbal hooks. And step number 2 is scripting. So I personally spend 1 day scripting out my content, and what that looks like, I also follow this through a framework. All of this has frameworks because it's going to allow you to be a lot more consistent. So in fact, before I move on to that point, let me go back and make it clear how I'm coming up with unlimited pieces of content. So a lot of you might be thinking, I'm going to run out of content very quickly with, like, say I've only got 4 or 5 different pain points. But the more you get inside of your ideal avatar's head, and you can, you know, look at your competition and see how they're talking to the pain point of the client, and you can get really specific, and then you can just hit it from 100 different angles, right? So you can, what I did, for example, is I put on ChatGPT. Let me show you this, because this is absolutely saucy. So what I've got here is called a hook hub. This is insane. I don't think anybody else, I don't watch other people's content anymore, but I'm pretty sure no one's given out this much amount of information. I'm pretty sure. So what I did is I went on ChatGPT, and I told you that framework I did previously, like give me 50 hooks, but I said give me 1,000 hooks. So what I have here, they're not all numbered, but I've got 1,000 hooks. These are the ones that I haven't numbered yet. But look at this. So all I do on my ideation day is for about 4 hours at a time, I just go through all of these, look through them, see which ones I can use. This is much better than going on Instagram and telling yourself, oh, I'm going to consume the algorithm and find my content that way. That's cool, but you're going to end up getting lost in the algorithm a lot of the times because Instagram is designed to capture your attention. So just be careful when you're trying to do that for your research and development. But yeah, so 1,000 hooks. Like I said, I'm not running out of content because I'm doing this at scale. Like right now, I'm shooting around 5 pieces of short form content a week based on this framework. I spend the full day ideating, I spend the full day scripting, and going back to scripting, the framework is hook. We've come up with the hook already, and how I differentiate these, because you're seeing this warning bracket. The warning bracket means I've made the hook, and the pen emoji means I've made the script for it. So this is what I do on my script day. I'll just go through the hook, and then I just collaborate with ChatGPT. I say what the hook is, I say what I'm trying to come across like. So it's hook, body, call to action. What am I trying to do here? And for example, if we look at one of these ideas, I'll show you, it doesn't even matter. Whatever, like a lot of these are negatively based hooks because negativity tends to catch the listener's attention more. So it's not that we're being negative, but it's that we're trying to get their attention, because when something's negative and something's bad, biologically we have to pay attention to it because it could be dangerous, versus if something's good, we don't necessarily have to pay attention to it. We can kind of just ignore it for the time being because it's not detrimental to our survival. So that's where the negativity bias comes from. But so here, for example, whatever you do, do not fixate on Facebook and Google ads with your practice promotion budget. So what I'm saying here is, for all the practices that think only if I could invest more in Google, invest more in Facebook ads, I can get more leads. But it's not really that simple, because what they notice is when they start to pay more and get more leads, they can't convert the leads because the whole business infrastructure is broken. So that's what I'm talking to here, and that's how I intend to get the intention with this hook. So I'll go to ChatGPT, this is the hook for the video, give me a body and give me a call to action. But for the most part, because I've been internalizing the pain points of my clients for so long, I can literally just think how I want this to form. You know what I mean? So whatever you do, do not fixate on Facebook and Google as we will practice promotion budget. And then I could talk about how doing that ignores the underlying problem. Like we're treating the effect here and not getting to the cause of the problem, which isn't lack of leads, it's lack of business infrastructure, it's lack of a good patient journey, which will allow the patients to return. Like you're having patients, but they're not returning. So there's just different things, and then I'll think about it in my deep work block with some brain FM playing, and I'll come up with these ideas. I'm going to give you one actually. So this is just a very broad one. For example, this is just something I came up with, and then when I've come up with it, I send it through to ChatGPT so it can really just refine it. So it's just like I'm just collaborating with ChatGPT. ChatGPT is like the best business partner ever. So are you camera shy? Why? Just like anything else, the ability to talk on camera is nothing but a skill. Thankfully, all skills are learnable. Only 6 months ago I felt the same, obsessing on how I sound, how I look. I didn't want my skin to be greasy. What would other people think? Stop. Every day you don't record yourself and post it for your ideal patients to see, you're being selfish, because they'll end up at your neighbor practice who you and I both know doesn't provide treatment as well as you. So it's an iterative process. I'm just experimenting. Like I said, every week I shoot 5 pieces of content and I'm just trying out different things. And then here I've got the location so I can really group things together and see, and then what I'm shooting on, because some things I want to shoot on the iPhone, some things I want to shoot on my Sony. So I'm just differentiating everything here. Script, and then step number 3 is shooting. And like I said, I was kind of leaning into that topic organically here. So some of them I want to do like an overhead angle with my overhead tripod. Some of them I want to just do in the city, walking around like a vlog style. Some of them I want to do at my desk. So shooting's really easy. Like I said, I have content days as well. So I do an ideation day, script day, content day. All day I'm just shooting videos back to back, and reels are really easy to shoot. So you get your script by your side, you enlarge it, and you just read off the script, and in a way where it's like not that you're reading it too often, but like each chunk, like each short is separated into like 4 chunks, and I'll read each chunk at a time. The 4th step obviously is probably the most tedious part of this whole thing, which would be editing. So with editing, you kind of want to have it in mind when you're shooting a video. So the way you're talking on camera, your tonality, and how you're coming across with your voice, like how you're referring to things. So when it comes to like implementing B-roll and implementing the edit, everything can flow nicely. Because what you'll notice is when people aren't cognizant of this, they'll just shoot the video haphazardly, and what happens is when it comes to editing, they can't really create a good edit out of the content they've made. So just be wary of that. I feel like editing's so sophisticated when it comes to short form content. I've just outsourced it. What I've did is I looked on Instagram, I found the best short form editors, and I just bit the bullet call it, I paid a lot of money for short form edits, but I think it's a lot more worth it, because what you notice is 90% of people's edits are just generic, and you go on Upwork, you go on Fiverr, you get these freelancers who it seems they're not even on Instagram, they're not even on social media, because the edits are just outdated. So I think the most important thing is editing, because with a bad edit, it's going to make your content look like everybody else's, and then you're not going to have that pattern interrupt what you need to catch your ideal client's attention. So I think it's worth just spending a week looking for video editors and up your budget. Like right now I'm paying like $80, which is like £70, which is like 75 euros per video, to make sure each video is edited properly. The color grading is on point, the audio is on point, the way it's exported is perfect, the way it cuts, the motion graphics, the animations, the transitions, everything is just perfect. Even the font usage, like everything is very important, and you've got to be really meticulous when it comes to this. And when it comes to the editing software, make sure your editors are using either After Effects, Premiere Pro, and if you really want to go with that, make sure they're using Blender as well, which is like a 3D animation software, because that's going to make your videos look amazing. And so I've got my video editing preferences here. So with the video editors as well, it's like a specific framework what I go through to make sure like they are editing properly, what I look for with an editor to make sure so I'm not wasting my time, because a lot of editors aren't very good. 90% of short form editors aren't very good, so you've got to know exactly what you're looking for. So because I've been looking through so many at this point, I've got a specific framework. And when it comes to preferences as well, I've got brand colors when it comes to my short form content. I've got references of different, like a compilation of sound effects, transitions, everything I've saw when I've been browsing on Instagram and I've just snapped them up and put them on a video for them to watch. So there's all sorts here in place for them to make sure everything's working properly. And I've got my video editors here inside of a database, so I can track what videos are being edited, how it all fares out. Let me show you before I go. I'm going to show you my content. I tag my videos here when they're being edited by somebody else. I've got like 16 videos right now. I shot like 4 videos today because it's my content database, so I'm shooting this video on a Thursday. So these are all the videos that I'm editing, following that exact framework that I've showed you. It's being refined over time. So I showed you the framework now, but it's going to be refined. That's what I'm doing right now to have unlimited content ideas. We've got 1,000 hooks to cipher through. We're scripting out once a week. We're shooting the content once a week. I send it off to I've got like 5 editors right now. I send it off for my editors to be edited. They come back, I revise them, I iterate, and then I move forward. I'm not going to talk about my carousel post in this video. It follows the same framework, but it's just copywriting. So same process. I am collaborating with ChatGPT, the same stuff. And then you see here, I've got all my different carousel hooks. Same process pretty much, except I'm not talking, I'm writing instead. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, took some value from it, and I will potentially see you in the next one if this is up your alley and I post anything in the future but you resonate with enough to watch. So thank you for watching.